Welcome back to the Business Ignite podcast, where we light the fire for business growth and marketing success. Your hosts, Ethan Walker and Samantha Reed, bring you the latest trends, expert insights, and actionable strategies to fuel your business journey. Let's ignite your potential.
Okay, so have you ever poured your heart into a design?
Uh-huh.
And you're so ready to share it, get it out there.
Right.
And then the feedback just...
Totally. It's not good.
That can be brutal.
Right. And it's like, where did I go wrong?
You're not alone, trust me. Every creative goes through that.
I guess that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah.
But we're tackling that today. We're doing a deep dive on how to make those cringe-worthy critique moments actually,
Useful.
useful. Exactly. We're using this article. It's from 95 Visual.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah, you're like the design gurus, websites, branding, the whole 9 yards.
Okay. Yeah, so they definitely know their stuff then.
They're in the trenches dealing with this every day. And what really surprised me,
Yeah.
they don't even start with how to handle the criticism itself.
Yeah.
Really?
It's more about what you do before you even show your work.
Huh. That's interesting. Why does that matter so much?
Right. I was wondering the same thing. But they emphasize that so often we jump into asking for feedback without really thinking about our goals.
Oh, I'm totally guilty of that.
Me too. We're so excited to show off what we've made. We forget to,
Like set the stage.
Exactly. We forget to ask ourselves those basic questions.
Like what?
Like, what problem are we even trying to solve with this design? Who are we making this for?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Otherwise, you just get vague feedback that's not helpful.
Right. Like, this doesn't work for me. And you're left thinking, great, thanks.
Okay, so if you do set those goals beforehand, then what? How does the feedback change?
Well, let's say you're designing a logo. Instead of, what do you think of this logo? You ask.
Does this logo convey what I'm going for?
Yeah, or I'm trying to show trustworthiness and innovation. Does this achieve that?
Oh, I see. You're giving them something to measure it against.
Exactly. The feedback becomes so much more focused and actually helpful.
Okay, I like where this is going. It's like setting clear expectations from the start.
Right. And 95 Visual had this example about a company designing a mobile app.
Okay.
It was really sleek and stylish, but they hadn't really thought about,
Who is using it?
yeah, their target audience. It was supposed to be for older adults, but
Oh, no, that's not good.
yeah, they had to redo the whole thing because the feedback was all about how hard it was to navigate.
Oof, that's a design nightmare.
If they'd just clarified who they were designing for right from the beginning.
They could have saved so much time and energy.
Exactly. It's not just about getting feedback. It's about making sure everyone's on the same page about what we're trying to achieve.
I'm starting to see that now, yeah.
Okay, so we've got our goals figured out. We're ready with our elevator pitch.
Right.
Now, how do we actually ask people for feedback without, making them run for the hills?
Like, how do we make it less scary?
Exactly. And 95 Visual says it can be as simple as how you phrase the question.
Really?
Yeah, it's all about framing. Would you rather someone ask for your opinion or your help?
Oh, help, for sure.
Right. Opinions just feel...
Way more judgy.
Exactly.
So how do we ask for help then, specifically?
So instead of, hey, can I get your feedback on this? It's more like,
Hey, can you lend me your expertise on this?
yeah, or, hey, I'm really struggling with this concept. Could you lend your eye to this?
You're asking for their help, not just their judgment.
Exactly. It shows that you value their input and you see them as a partner.
Not just a critic waiting to tear you down.
Right. And it automatically makes the whole thing feel less intimidating for both of you.
I like that approach. Makes it more collaborative.
Okay, so we've set the stage with our goals. We're asking for help like pros.
We're on a roll.
But then comes the hard part,
Uh-oh.
actually receiving the criticism.
The moment of truth, huh?
And that's where things can get interesting. Because even when we prep and we think we're ready, it's still tough to hear that something we've worked on,
This isn't perfect.
Yeah. Or that it needs more work.
Especially when you've poured your heart and soul into it,
Totally. 95 Visual talks about detaching your ego from the work.
Oh, that's so hard, though.
Right. It's easier said than done.
Way easier.
But they use this analogy about learning to ride a bike.
Okay, I can see where this is going.
You don't just hop on and become a pro instantly, right? There are wobbles.
Definitely some wobbles.
Some falls, maybe a few scraped knees along the way.
I think we all have those battle scars.
For sure. But each of those, design wipeouts, those failures...
They teach you something.
Right. You learn how to balance, how to steer,
So you're saying that those critiques, even the harsh ones, They're like those wipeouts.
Okay, gotta be honest, I kind of like that analogy.
It's all part of the process, right?
Yeah.
It's not about you as a designer being a failure.
Oh.
It's just that the design itself, it needs some improvement.
Exactly. It's like this version just needs a little more, I don't know.
Refinement.
Yes, refinement. And speaking of refinement, 95 Visual also talks about asking clarifying questions.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Because sometimes the feedback is so vague.
The worst.
Like, this just doesn't feel right. And you're like,
Okay, now what?
right. Like, should I scrap the whole thing? Start over?
That's where those clarifying questions come in handy.
Totally. Instead of just nodding along like you understand.
They dig a little deeper.
Exactly. Can you elaborate on that? What specifically feels off?
Is it the color scheme? The layout? Help me understand.
Yes. And when you ask those questions, you're not just getting more clarity for yourself.
You're showing the other person that you actually care about their feedback.
And that you're trying to actually use it to improve.
Which makes them more likely to, actually give you thoughtful feedback in the future.
Right. It turns it into a dialogue, not just a one-way critique.
I'm all about that open communication for sure.
Me too. Okay, so we've talked about setting clear goals, asking for help, detaching our egos, asking clarifying questions.
What else is there?
Well, 95 Visual also emphasizes the importance of
Don't tell me.
gratitude,
I knew it. Gratitude.
which sounds so simple
It is simple, but we forget it all the time.
all the time, especially when the feedback is, well,
Not exactly what you wanted to hear.
right, when it feels like a punch to the gut.
But even then,
Think
about it. Someone took the time to share their thoughts, even if it wasn't sugar-coated.
that's true. It is coming from a good place, usually.
They want you to succeed. And sometimes that means being upfront and honest.
Okay, I see your point. Even if the delivery isn't perfect, the intention is usually good.
Exactly. And when you acknowledge that, when you show gratitude
It makes the whole experience more positive.
for both of you,
Yeah.
and it builds trust, which is crucial for any creative collaboration,
Okay, I'm convinced. Gratitude, even when it's hard.
especially when it's hard.
It's true, though. We've been talking about design critiques.
Right?
But this applies to, like, everything.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That big presentation at work, getting feedback from your boss.
Oh, nerve-wracking.
The worst. Or those performance reviews.
Don't even get me started, am I right?
And even in our personal lives, like, let's say you're trying a new recipe.
Okay, I'm with you.
You make this amazing dinner, and your partner gives you that look.
You know the one.
Exactly. It's like, what went wrong?
Instead of getting defensive, though,
Yeah.
what if we use these tips to actually, grow from it?
Okay, now I'm really interested. How would that even work? With the partner, the recipe, the look, everything.
All right, so imagine you're making this fancy pasta dish.
Okay.
And instead of just serving it up, you say,
Yeah.
hey, I was going for, a really rich, savory flavor. How's the seasoning hitting you?
Ooh, so sneaky. You're getting feedback, but you're also kind of guiding it.
Exactly. It's not just a test of your cooking skills. It's like you're both in on it together.
Okay. And then what? What if they say, it needs a little something?
Instead of panicking,
Right. My instinct.
you ask, what do you think it's missing? More salt, a squeeze of lemon.
So it becomes this collaborative thing.
Exactly. You're both working towards the same delicious goal.
Oh, I like that. No more kitchen nightmares.
And the best part is, the more you do this,
Yeah.
the more natural it becomes. You start seeing feedback as something helpful, not scary.
It's like this whole time we've been approaching feedback like it's a battle,
Right. Shields up.
when really it's more like building a bridge.
I love that. Building a bridge together.
And when you do that, it not only makes the feedback better.
It actually strengthens your relationships too.
This is amazing. I'm already thinking about how I can use this in every part of my life. Work, relationships, everything.
Me too. It's all about changing your perspective, approaching feedback with curiosity, being open to learning.
Well said. This deep dive has been a game changer for sure.
Glad to hear it.
And listeners, we want to hear from you. How do you handle criticism? What are your tips and tricks? Share your experiences with us on social media.
We'll be checking those out for sure.
Until next time, happy creating.
Thanks for tuning in to the Business Ignite podcast, where we fuel your business growth and marketing success. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to rate and review us. It does help others find the show. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Business Ignite Podcast and share this episode with a friend. Keep the fire burning, and remember, your success is just one strategy away. Until next time, Stay ignited.